very few victories in college athletics compared to those that come against a rival. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, and this is Coyote Corner. Well, it's been a long time since the South Dakota men have tasted victory against North Dakota State. In fact, the last time the Coyotes topped the Bison, February 20th, 2004, Craig Smith was on the opposite bench, serving as an assistant for NDSU. Wednesday, the Yotes set out to snap that skid as they played host to the defending Summit League champs at the Dome. Bison came in 3-0 in the conference, Coyotes 2-1, so the winner guaranteed at least a share of first place. Lawrence Alexander helped NDSU get off to a good start. The Summit League's leading scorer pops a couple of early trays to spark an 8-0 Bison run. Yotes have their own sniper. Casey Kasperbauer's been ridiculous of late, shooting 58% beyond the arc in Summit League play coming in, and 14 was dialed in again. Two more threes, the second of which puts the Coyotes up by 3. Later, they turn defense into offense. Tyler Larson gets the block ahead to Trey Norris. He lays it in for 2 of his 10 points. 30-26 Coyotes at the half. Kasperbauer still hot to start the second. He finished 4 for 5 from downtown with a team-high 18 points, his 5th straight game in double figures. Coyotes trying to create some cushion. Brandon Boss with a great look to Trey Burnett. Bump and the bucket. USD would lead by as many as 8. Back come the Bison, though. It was Corey Brown that led the charge. The junior gets the acrobatic lay-in to cut the deficit to 1. And 3 possessions later, he does his best poster pose. Brown scored 13 of his 15 in the second half, and NDSU leads 63-62. But they aren't called the Cardiac Coyotes for nothing. Tied at 63, Tyler Larson puts USD in front for good. Larson notches his 8th double-double with 10 points and a career-high 14 rebounds. South Dakota beats the Bison for the first time in 7 tries, 71-67 the final. Free throws were a huge part of it. USD 24 of 27 at the line compared to just 6 of 9 for NDSU. Coyotes also turned it over a season-low 6 times. With the win, South Dakota improved to 3-1 in the Summit League and moved into a 3-way tie for first place.
It felt great to finally beat them as a Coyote. It's been a long time coming, but really happy to get that off our shoulders.
We just found a way to get it done. That's also been our motto all year, is just sticking to it, sticking to the game, and get it done at the end and find a way to win.
Casey Kasperbauer and the Coyotes look to snap another skid Saturday at Frost Arena, a place they hadn't won since 1998. USD strikes first. Brandon Boss looking inside for James Hunter. He gets the roll, and the floodgates open from there. The Jacks couldn't hit a shot, and the Yotes couldn't miss. Kasperbauer for 3, 7-zip USD. And it's Trey Burnett's turn. He pops a tray, and it's a 10-point Coyote lead. And the run was only half over. A few minutes later, Kasperbauer again. USD outscored SDSU 20-0 over the first 8 minutes. But believe it or not, the Jacks would put together an even bigger run. They're down just 2 when Keaton Moffitt gets the putback plus the foul. Free throw gives SDSU the lead. Reed Tellinghusen also a big part of the turnaround. DeAndre Parks finds the freshman for the easy lay-in. Jackrabbits led 31-29 at the half. Coyotes collect themselves to start the second. Tyler Larson knocks down the triple. Larson notched his 9th double-double with 12 points and 12 rebounds. USD down 1. Brandon Boss on the drive. Shot won't go, but Hunter there to clean up the mess. 3-point play makes it 44-42 USD with 10:25 to go. That would be their last lead of the night. Jacks outscore the Coyotes 29-13 over the final 10 minutes and pull away for a 71-57 win. They've now won 4 straight in the series and 8 in a row against USD at Frost Arena.
We completely took our feet off the gas pedal, and they made a huge run, and we didn't know how to handle it. But like Coach said, we're down 2 at half. We were in a great position to win the game still, but they made the plays down the stretch, and we're able to close this out.
A disappointing finish to the weekend, but the Coyotes are already looking ahead. Our weekly conversation with head coach Craig Smith is coming up next.
Coyote Corner on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Well, rivalry week started with a bang for the USD men as they knocked off North Dakota State 72-68 on Wednesday night at the Dakota Dome. Here to talk about that and the rest of the week in Coyote Hoops is head coach Craig Smith. And Craig, not the start you wanted probably in this game. The Bison came out shooting it pretty well, scored 8 straight to start, but credit to your guys, they recovered nicely.
Yeah, certainly you don't want to start out in an 8-0 hole in the first 2.5 minutes of the game, but we called timeout and just huddled them together and just tried to calm them down. I think the guys were really amped up for that game, very excited. It was only our 6th home game of the year, and then certainly playing the defending conference tournament champion, on our home court. The guys were really excited to play. It was our first game at home where our students weren't on break.
Right.
And I thought it really paid dividends down the stretch.
Yeah, you were able to open up the lead to 8 points in the second half, and that's where Corey Brown, who I thought was very big for them in the second half, Lawrence Alexander's been great all year, he's Summit League's leading scorer, and they led the Bison back. They end up getting in front, and those two were a huge part of that.
Yeah, and that's what you expect out of their veterans. Both guys have been in huge games for them, and that's what you expect. Alexander had 20 points, I believe, on 21 shots, so I thought we did a decent job on him. And then Brown had an exceptional second half. Our guys responded. DJ Davis misses a shot at the shot clock in the left corner in the second half, chases it down all the way across the floor, gets it with 2 hands, gets fouled. Makes 1 out of 2. They tip it out of bounds. We get it in. Brandon Boss misses a wide open 3 when it was tied. And Tyler Larson comes flying in there like he's Superman and gets the putback. And that put us ahead for good with about 1:10 to go.
Yeah, that Larson bucket was big, but I think the real difference, there's no real secret about it, was at the free throw line. You guys got there and you converted 24-27.
We feel like when we can get to the free throw line, we're going to win the majority of the games. And I thought our guys did a great job of being in attack mode, loving the rim and liking the 3 the whole night.
Yeah, that win snapped a 12-game winning streak in the Summit League for the Bison. First win against them since 2004 when you, as you mentioned last week, were an assistant for North Dakota State. Well, you move on with that win, hoping to carry that momentum forward to Frost Arena, another place you guys had struggled to find victories. And I'm not sure you could have gotten off to a better start in this game.
No, we definitely carried the momentum for 8 minutes. And then it kind of stymied for the next 32. But, I've never been a part of a game like that. And quite frankly, I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that over all the years I've been in coaching. We got off to a great start. We stopped them, I believe, on their first 12 possessions, which really led into some easy buckets in transition. I thought we were in attack mode. We really moved the ball around. And then we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot in a lot of ways. South Dakota State played great. I felt like that was one of the best games they've played all year. But, over the last 12 minutes of the first half, we go 5 for 18 with shots in the paint. And it was everybody. It wasn't 1 or 2 guys. It was everybody that played that at least missed 1 shot. And as crazy as it sounds to only be down 2 going into half, because, it was not pretty for those 12 minutes. We were in Frost Arena. When you look at the big picture, it could have been a lot worse. And so I thought we played decent in the second half. It was back and forth, and then we just went on a big-time funk the last 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and they closed it out, end up winning that 71-57. And so you take the loss there, and that's frustrating, but now you've got to go back on the road, and that's something you guys have done a lot of. But the good news is this is going to end your 3-game road trip, and then you play 7 out of your last 10 at home. And you'll wrap things up at Western Illinois, at IUPUI this weekend. Western is a place that has been another difficult place to get a win for the Coyotes. In fact, 1 of 4 all time in Macomb. Yeah,
it's a tough place to play, and a lot of that's just the way they play. They're a tough, physical, rugged team. They defend like crazy. The Covington kid can really, really get it going. He's averaging 15 a game, and he can score it in every which way. And so, playing on the road is always difficult no matter what. I do feel like our guys have a lot of confidence in playing on the road. And so we got punched in the mouth pretty good against South Dakota State, and we're excited to get back at it on Thursday against Western Illinois.
Well, good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, thanks, Craig. Well, the USD women got a couple of wins over their arch rivals over the weekend. We've got those highlights coming up next.
Coyote Corner on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
The USD women broke out of their recent offensive funk in a big way at Western Illinois, exploding for 101 points, their most ever against a D1 opponent, in a win over the Leathernecks. Thursday, the Coyotes attempted to pick up right where they left off against rival North Dakota State. Something had to give. The Bison came in 0 for 7 on the road, while USD was a perfect 6-0 at home. The offense has been particularly good at the Dome, and that would hold true in this one. Coyotes making bank of the inside. Margaret McLeod with a pair of early bunnies. She finished a perfect 5 for 5 from the floor. Nicole Seekamp with a nice dish to Kate Liveringhouse. The Coyotes outscored NDSU 28-4 in the paint in the first half. But they were shooting it pretty well outside as well. Great ball movement leads to an open look for Rachelle Contreras. Splash, 3 of her team-high 17. Yotes led by as many as 24. Brooke Lamar, one of the few bright spots for NDSU in that first half. The Summit League's leading scorer, accounted for 5 of the Bison's 8 field goals. USD up 18 at the break. But the Bison didn't quit. Lamar slices through the D and scores to cut the deficit to 16. Lamar led all scores with 23. NDSU kept on chipping away. Holly Johnson from way downtown. She had 14. Bison eventually cut it to 9 before the Coyotes put them away. Bridget Arns with a great take here. The sophomore had 10 points and 7 rebounds off the bench. And later, Nicole Seekamp delivers the dagger. Her only 3 of the night. Seekamp finished with 14 to go along with 9 assists. And the Coyotes beat the Bison for the 4th straight time, 84-69 the final. USD, which never trailed, put 6 players in double figures for the 2nd straight game. And that balance, once again, was key to the team's quick start.
We're so deep. Our bench is just everybody, like everyone can really just start. Everyone is just can score. It just makes things so easier because the defense, you have to respect that.
Fast forward to Saturday, USD with a chance to complete the weekend sweep against South Dakota State. Jackrabbits playing without their leading scorer, Megan Witashik, who was out with an illness, but they looked just fine early on. Macy Miller, the true freshman, takes it end-to-end for 2, State by 7. Chloe Cornerman saw her minutes increase due to Watashik's absence, and her 3 stretches the lead to double digits, 31-21 Jacks. Coyotes got a spark from their bench too. Heidi Hoff connects for 3 of her 7 first-half points. Hoff helped USD pull within 3 by the break. Amy Williams wanted more from her big guns, and Rachelle Contreras was locked and loaded. She led the way as USD opened the half on a 9-2 run. She was just getting started. Contreras buries the tray. She scored 23 of her career-high 32 in the second half. Coyotes eventually opened up a 6-point lead, but back come the Jacks. China Stevens banks it home for 3 of her 13, and SDSU is within 2. Then it's Miller. Great stuff off the dribble. She matched her career high with 25, 69-68 Jackrabbits. But the Coyotes' will to win was just a touch stronger down the stretch. Case in point, Taya He-Miller. The junior chases down the offensive board and buries the 3 to put USD back in front. Next possession, He-Miller again off another offensive board, 74-69 USD. Coyotes up 2 with just a minute and a half to go. Guess who? What a finish. He-Miller scored all 9 of her points over the final 3:26 to help USD hold off SDSU 82-78. It's the first regular season win over the Jackrabbits for head coach Amy Williams, and that, coupled with Western Illinois' loss at Oral Roberts, leaves the Coyotes all alone at the top of the Summit League standings.
I think every time we go out there and play against this team, it's always going to be a battle. Even no matter if they're having, if they're having a bad game or we've had a bad game or whatever, I think it's always going to be a close one with State.
The Coyotes may be on top for now, but Amy Williams and company are not planning to get comfortable. We'll cover that and more with USD's head coach when we come back.
Coyote Corner on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
And welcome back to Coyote Corner. The USD women are alone in first place in the Summit League after a weekend sweep over North Dakota State and South Dakota State. Here to join us to talk a little bit more about that now is head coach of the USD women, Amy Williams. And First place never gets old, right?
Yeah, it's pretty early to be talking about places, and I think this early, lots of things will still jump around, so we're not kind of getting too caught up in that. But it is important to take care of home court, and I think I saw today that in women's basketball in the Summit League right now, home teams are 19-5, and so it's very critical. It's tough. It just shows how tough it is to go on the road and win. So for us to get a couple home wins was really good.
All that much sweeter when they come against your arch rivals in North Dakota State and South Dakota State. And let's start with talking a little bit about Thursday's game against the Bison. You win that one 84-69. You were able to jump on NDSU early in this game, and it started inside. You outscored the Bison 28-4 in the paint in the first half. That really helped get you going.
Yeah, I thought Margaret did a great job of establishing post presence down there for us early, and we were looking for that and really took advantage inside and did a great job of that. And I think in the second half they switched their defense, went to a little bit more zone, and that kind of limited some of our post touches in the second half. But we were able to kind of still find good shots and sustain that and be able to come out with a good win.
Moving on to South Dakota State on Saturday, and obviously you expected a tough game out of the Jackrabbits. They're always good anytime these two teams get together. You did learn just before this game, though, that they were going to be without their leading scorer. Megan Wojtaszek didn't even make the trip due to illness. Obviously leaves a significant hole in their lineup, but the Jacks pretty good with or without her.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that they've always had good depth, and I think she missed a game or two a year ago with an ankle or something, and they just seemed to move right to the next player, and so we knew it was going to, they were still going to, battle and give us a tough game, even without Megan in the lineup, and it was a fun battle, lots of lead changes, and just an exciting game to be a part of.
The shots weren't falling real consistently for you in that first half, but I thought coming off the bench, Heidi Hoff had a really good day overall, but I thought in the first half in particular, hit a couple of big shots. She had 7 before the break, helped you guys whittle that lead down to 3 by halftime.
Yeah, I mean, I think our staff and team kind of collectively thought Heidi deserved that game ball. We dug ourselves a little bit. I think at least 10-point deficit there in the first half, and Heidi was able to come in and really spark us with a big 3 and a couple other baskets and just 7 points there to kind of keep us in that, and was a huge factor as to why we were able to draw that to a 3-point game there before halftime, which I think was really critical. And
you guys came out of the break and stole that momentum back, 9-2 run to start things off. It was back and forth the rest of the way with the teams trading big shots, some of the big players really stepping up and hitting big ones. Rachel Contreras all day, very consistent, and she pours in a career-high 32 points in this game. She was phenomenal.
She was really good. Almost every area where you can find to score points, she did it for our team, and she's just really, I think, showing that her focus this year was to improve her consistency, and she's been doing a great job of that.
Rachel's going to get a lot of the headlines, and rightfully so, with 32 points, but I thought down the stretch, Ty Miller made some of the game-changing plays that proved to be the difference.
She did, and that just kind of shows what a warrior she is. I think Taya didn't have her best game for the first 34 or 35 minutes of that game, but she still wanted the ball in her hand. She took big shots, she hit big shots, she made big plays, just offensive rebounds and defensive steals, and when our team really needed them, and really kind of was the reason we were able to come out on top.
Finally, 2 on the road this weekend, 2 places that are very difficult to play, in Fort Wayne on Thursday, then IUPUI on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't won at Fort Wayne yet, and so that's kind of a big goal of ours, and you're going to have to go steal one on the road here or there, and we talk about taking care of business in the Dome, but to work on that sustained success and consistency that our team has been striving for, you have to be road warriors too, and so it's going to be a really tough road trip, and we'll try to see what we can do to steal a couple wins on the road.
All right, well, good luck to you this week, and we'll see you back here next week.
Sounds good, Jay.
All right, thanks, Amy. Well, 4 games this week for USD, all of them on the road. We'll take one last look at the weekend schedule when we come back.
Coyote Corner on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by BillionAuto.com.
Well, fresh off that weekend sweep of their 2 biggest rivals, the USD women find themselves all alone at the top of the Summit League standings. At 4-1, the Coyotes are a half game up with a game in hand. on North Dakota State. Western Illinois, Denver, each 3-2. South Dakota State and Oral Roberts are 3-3, 2 games off the pace. Two of the teams currently in the bottom third are next up on the schedule for USD. The Coyotes will visit Fort Wayne on Thursday. The Mastodons feature one of the top scorers in the Summit League in Haley Seibert. The senior currently ranks 4th in the conference at 16.2 points per game. She put up 35 in the Dons win over the Coyotes in Fort Wayne last season. Saturday, it's on to Indianapolis and IUPUI. The Jaguars dropped a pair of games at Oral Roberts and Omaha over the weekend to fall to 2-3 in the Summit, but they are much better at home, where they've won 7 of 9 on the season. Tip time in Indianapolis is slated for 6 p.m. Central Time. With Saturday's loss to South Dakota State, the Coyote men fell a game off the pace in the Summit League standings. NDSU and Oral Roberts currently tied for the top spot, with SDSU a half game back at 4-2. Craig Smith and company will look to get back into the win column Thursday night at Western Illinois. The Coyotes yet to win in Macomb as a member of the Summit League, and the Leathernecks are 7-2 at Western Hall so far this season. Saturday will be a battle of the conference's 2 biggest surprises as USD visits IUPUI. The Coyotes and Jags pick 8th and 9th respectively in the preseason, but both are off to 3-2 starts. USD's had IUPUI's number in terms of head-to-head meetings, winning 5 of 6 overall and 2 of 3 in Indy. So another big weekend for South Dakota basketball, and we will have your complete recap of all that action for you next week on another episode of Coyote Corner. Till then, I'm Jay Elson. Thanks for watching.